Today, we're going to dive into a really powerful story that gets at a feeling I think we've all had. This idea of waiting for help that seems to show up, well, just a little too late. You know that feeling, right? You're in the middle of a crisis. You're hoping, you're praying for a breakthrough, and you're just met with silence. That sinking feeling that the window of opportunity has slammed shut, and whatever help you were hoping for, it's just not coming anymore. It's a tough place to be. Well, it turns out there's a famous story, thousands of years old, that is built around this exact feeling. It's all about a man named Lazarus, and it really makes you ask some big questions about timing, about purpose, and about what it means to hold on to hope. Okay, so let's set the scene. The story kicks off not with a gentle request, but with an absolutely urgent cry for help. A man's life is literally hanging in the balance, and his family knows exactly who they need to call. So the main people you need to know are this family from a little village called Bethany. You've got Lazarus, who is incredibly sick. Then there are his two sisters, Mary and Martha. And finally, their very, very close friend Jesus, who they believe can perform miracles. So the sisters, they send a messenger to Jesus. And the message they send is so personal. Listen to the wording. They don't say, your follower is sick, or this guy you know. They say, Lord, the one you love is sick. They're playing their strongest card, this deep personal bond they share, fully expecting him to drop everything and come running. And right here, this is where the story takes a sharp, totally unexpected turn, because the response isn't at all what they or anyone would expect. In fact, for this family in crisis, the response is just a devastating silence. Now, this is the really wild part. The story makes it super clear that Jesus doesn't get sidetracked or busy. He hears the news, he understands exactly what's at stake, and he intentionally waits. He just stays put for 2 whole more days. To anyone on the outside, this has to look like he just doesn't care. Let's just walk through this so we can really feel the weight of it. Day 1, the urgent message is sent. Jesus hears it, but he waits through all of day 2 and all of day 3. By the time he finally starts traveling and gets to Bethany, it's day 4. Can you imagine? 4 agonizing days of waiting for that family, their hope draining away with every hour. And when he does arrive, their absolute worst fear has come true. Lazarus is gone, and he's not just recently passed. He has been buried and sealed in a tomb for 4 days. From every possible human perspective, it's over. Help came too late. So when Jesus finally shows up, he's not walking into a quiet, resigned scene of mourning. Oh no, he walks straight into the raw, unfiltered pain of his friends who are just completely heartbroken and honestly pretty confused. Martha runs out to meet him on the road, and what she says just perfectly captures this mix of faith and total agony. Lord, if you had been here, think about that. It's a huge statement of faith in his power. But it's also a heartbroken accusation. She's basically saying, we called you, we trusted you, where were you? And this moment perfectly shows the clash in perspective. For Martha, the problem is death, and death is final. Her only hope is this vague idea of a resurrection way, way off in the future. But Jesus? He's operating on a completely different level. He sees this moment not as the end, but as the perfect setup for something amazing, something that's about to happen right now. But here's the thing. Even though he knows how this story ends, even though he has this bigger purpose, he sees the grief of Mary and Martha. And the text gives us these 2 incredibly powerful words. Jesus wept. He doesn't brush off their pain because he has a plan. He enters right into it. He feels it with them. So they get to the tomb, and it's here that the reason for this whole painful delay starts to click into place. The waiting, you see, wasn't about a lack of care. It was actually a crucial part of the plan. Jesus walks up to this tomb sealed with a giant stone, and he tells the people there to roll it away. And Martha, understandably, freaks out a little. She says, but Lord, it's been 4 days. There's going to be a terrible smell. But Jesus just insists. Now that number, 4, is everything. In Jewish belief at the time, there was this idea that a person's spirit would linger near the body for 3 days, maybe hoping to get back in. But on day 4, that was it. The spirit was gone, decay had set in, and death was absolute. There was 0 ambiguity. So when Jesus yells into that tomb on the 4th day, he isn't trying to wake someone from a coma. He is calling to a man that everyone, medically, culturally, spiritually, knew was completely and irreversibly gone. And then, to the absolute shock of everyone there, a man wrapped up in burial clothes walks out. And this is the whole point of the story. The real miracle wasn't just that Lazarus was raised, it was all in the timing. The glory, the power, it was only possible because of the wait. This story basically gives us a masterclass in what you might call divine timing. The big idea here is that what feels like a painful delay from our point of view might actually be a setup, a preparation for something much bigger than we ever could have imagined. Just think about it for a second. If Jesus had rushed over on day one and healed a sick Lazarus, that would have been an amazing miracle, for sure. But by waiting until day 4, until all hope was completely gone, he didn't just heal a sickness. He showed power over death itself, in the most undeniable way anyone could think of. So you see this pattern emerge, right? First, you have a situation that becomes completely, utterly hopeless. Second, that's followed by a period of painful, confusing waiting. And third, that very waiting is what sets the stage for something incredible to be revealed, something that just couldn't have happened any other way. And that kind of leaves us with a final thought for our own lives. When we're in that waiting period, when it really feels like help is too late, this story asks us to wonder, what if? What if the delay isn't a denial at all? What if it's just the quiet preparation for a miracle far greater than the one we were originally asking for?